Welcome back to 8.2 clarity. I wasn't very clear. Clarity. 8.2 IWY, IDNY. I want you. I don't need you. Well, it's a lot of valuable information. There'll be a lot of valuable information. There's some talking points that I want to hit. I think are important. And then I can always address the situations in my background. I'm sure it'll come up at some point. But for right now, we're just going to ignore the fact that it's there. So, part 2 of last week's episode, 100% failure rate. I want you, I don't need you. I may be 100% unsuccessful in relationships. Considering that I'm a single person, and if I was successful, then I wouldn't be single. What? Oh well. It is what it is. The thing about it is throughout this journey of divorce and breakups and everything else, the point is always to grow a little bit more every time. But what I didn't really realize or count on or never really thought about until this most recent breakup is self-value. Because for as long as I can remember, definitely before I got married, I have always I didn't care what people thought. I didn't value myself. And I carried myself that exact way. Nothing mattered. I just went through the motions and did what I needed to do, and it was just that. It was just that simple. That I didn't like myself, and I didn't do anything about it, but, no matter what I did, I actively pursued or whatever. But I never took that time to look at myself and get better. The only time I ever got better was when my ex from college broke up with me. And I go to the gym 3 times a day, starve myself, and just be miserable all the time. So what I've learned from this experience is to find value within myself. Find what makes me tick, what makes me a good person or a good human or a good husband, a good father, or whatever. Because those things are important in every relationship, not just intimate relationships, but in family relationships, friendships, any kind of ship that you're on is a big deal. And if you don't value yourself in any of those at all, then in any of those situations, why would they value you? They're not going to value you either. And so people get taken advantage of in friendships, in relationships, in family ships. Any kind of ship you could think of, people get taken advantage of because they don't value themselves. Or see themselves as less than, or put someone else above them or on a pedestal above them. And when you do that, you hold yourself back, and it makes you feel less than, so therefore they feel like you're less than, therefore they treat you like you are, and you're no longer equal. You're not in any kind of equal partnership with anybody. friends, family, coworkers, kids, parents, whoever, if someone has the upper hand, they're going to treat it like they have the upper hand every time. Unfortunately, it's very common. So, learning to know your worth and valuing yourself is very important. It's a journey that I'm on. It's a journey that when I go through a breakup or a situation and I sit there or look at it, or even a rejection, you can go through a rejection and look at the situation as well. Going through a rejection is just as bad as a breakup sometimes, because you're still sitting there like, damn, I just want to try to be with this person or whatever, with the deal. And they're just like, no. So being able to be, listen, well, I know what I bring to the table, so it's okay. I'm not worried about it. Or not take it so much to heart that, maybe they just don't like you. Maybe you're just not their type. I mean, who knows? There's girls in my life that are not, that aren't my type. Whatever that type may be, it doesn't matter. I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, the situation is sometimes you're not interested in somebody, whether it's personality, how they talk, how they walk, how they move, what they look like, what their beliefs are, There's a multitude of reasons why somebody could be like, oh, no, and reject you. So, when you think about that, I mean, it's about knowing yourself. Knowing your likes and dislikes and preferences, and being able to value yourself and know what you bring to the table, and know that no matter what, you are a prize as well. So I want you, I don't need you. I would love to have somebody, but I don't need, you're not a requirement. You're not a fulfillment in my life that I have to have. So like, if I'm interested in somebody and they're like, oh, I want to be in your life, but they're just like constantly in and out and in and out, and it's hot one second and it's terrible the next, and it's hot one second and it's terrible the next. As I talked about in the last video, with a couple of my friends who are going through similar experiences, where people are coming into their life and everything's great and it seems so wonderful and they're saying all the right things, but then they disappear for 3 days with no communication. Or they, you send them a message and like they respond like 2 days later. Oh, I'm sorry, I was really busy. I mean, okay, we're talking like 2 whole days later. Like you didn't pick up your phone one time to be like, oh, hey, sorry, I'm really busy, or anything. It's fine. I call bullshit, but I mean, that's whatever. And that's neither here nor there for me. But those kind of things are things you have to understand. Like, you have to value yourself enough to look at the situation and be like, listen, like, I'm not going to accept this bullshit anymore. It's what we talked about in previous episodes, setting boundaries and, telling people no, and just being okay with, like, either, hey, I'm good by myself, I don't need you, and I'll go to dinner by myself. I do all this shit anyway by myself, so I can continue to just do those things. I will continue to live my life as I was without you. It's not necessary. You're not a necessity in my life, like fucking air or water. You're not a necessity. Again, I want you, but I don't need you. So, but that starts with self-value, because if you don't have that value in your own worth and your own self, or you think that you're just not good enough for anybody, then you'll desperately try to continue to get the attention of the person that is no longer serving a purpose in your fucking life. So the longer that little succubus, that little fucking parasite victim bitch just fucking sits there and just suckles on you and just drains you of every part of your fucking energy, that will just sap fucking everything. But you know what the thing about a fucking leech or a parasite, the one thing that they're so fucking good at is literally just sucking out your self-worth and making you feel worthless. Because they're going to make you feel worthless for not, like, oh, they didn't reach out for 2 days or 3 days or whatever the fucking situation is, but if you didn't reach out for like 2 hours, you're the piece of shit. Remember this. Watch this shit with your own fucking eyes. I promise you. Watch this shit with your own eyes, because I promise you this shit has happened to you before. You're messaging someone and it's like, Oh, 2, 3 fucking days later, and they're like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I was so busy." Blah 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 blah. But turn the tables, respond to them 2 hours later. Well, what the fuck took you so long? Bitch, you didn't respond to me for 3 fucking days, and you're mad at me for not responding to you in like 2 hours because I was, I don't know, in the middle of a project or fucking whatever I was doing. And at a movie, watching a movie, enjoying myself for a few minutes. How often does that shit happen? It happens a lot. Probably didn't know it. Probably were blind to it. I bet you were. But it happens all the fucking time. It's crazy. It's almost like gaslighting you, telling you that you're fucking stupid. Like, I can't believe you didn't text me, but you know I hadn't heard from you in 3 fucking days. But I'm the asshole for not responding 5 minutes after your 3 day fucking adventure into the woods. Probably doing it ayahuasca with Aaron Rodgers. Still my boy though. It's all right. He's not my quarterback anymore, but he's still my boy. Now, so with that does come though, is to make sure that you are matching what you are asking for. Match what you want. So if I go to a girl and I'm like, hey, like I really like you, you know, we should be together, you know, I want you to pay, you know, I think you should pay half the bills, I think you should clean, I think you should cook, you know, and all that shit. You know, do the laundry, make sure the house is clean, everything like that, take care of the kids, whatever. So if you're asking for that, what are you bringing to the table along with your finances? If she's paying half the bills, that means you're only paying half the bills. If she's doing all the cooking, that means you're not doing any of the cooking. If she's doing all the cleaning, then you're not doing any of the cleaning. If she's taking care of the kids, then you're not taking care of the kids. So you're literally bringing and I'm not saying a 50-50 relationship, but I've said this before. You're literally bringing a one-sided relationship. You're literally ending your relationship before it even gets started if you're asking for shit like that. So you have to understand that, you know, you have to be able to match the energy that you're, match what you want. You have to be able to match what you're asking for. So if you're like, man, I want a girl who's got a good job and she can cook and she can clean. Well, you got to be able to do the same thing. So like, you've got to have yourself a decent job. You know, you got to keep yourself in shape. You've got to, you know, make sure you know, if you want to, if you want a gym fit girl, like, but you don't go to the gym. I mean, maybe there's a girl out there that wants that, but at the same time, you know, if you're asking for that, you should also provide that. You should bring that to the table as well. You should be a person who goes to the gym multiple times a day or cooks and eats healthy. If you expect her to cook, you know, to cook or to be able to cook, you should also be able to cook, because it should not always be a one-sided battle of who's cooking and cleaning and everything else. It's not always a one-sided battle of who does said activity. You both should be able to do those things. Now, I'm not saying, you know, there might be a whole week or a whole month in which one person does all these things, but the duty should be able to be split if necessary. Now, if her job is stay-at-home mom or Saham or whatever the fuck they call it, that she's home with the kids and, you know, cooking and cleaning and, you know, everything else, if that's her job description, I guess that could be a different story. But again, that's an arrangement that needs to be understood. Like, hey, I'm bringing home all this money. You don't have to work, but you know, this is what I expect, and that should be an agreed upon scenario. But all I'm saying is you have to be able to match whatever you expect. So like, if I sit here and say, all right, I want a gym fit girl who makes $100,000 a year, who is going to support me and everything I have, and she's going to cook and clean and do laundry and everything else. That's great. But if I make $30,000 a year, she makes $100,000 a year, how fair is that to her? And then you expect her to come home and, you know, you expect her to go to the gym after that and be fit, and then I don't go to the gym because I just eat fast food and shit every day. And then you expect her to come home and cook and clean, but you don't do either one of those things on any given day, or you can't. You know, you have to at least be able to match that energy in some way, shape, or form. Or, I mean, otherwise, like what you're bringing to the table is useless. It's, okay, cool. Well, I brought, but I don't bring enough money home. I don't cook. I don't clean. I don't take care of the kids. I don't do anything. I pretty much just live off of you. Then what am I bringing to the table? Quite honestly, the answer is nothing. You don't bring home jack shit. You bring a physical presence and probably a nuisance into her life. So match energies. Like make sure you're matching energy. Make sure that what you're expecting, you're also giving. It should always be. You should have the ability to give what you expect to receive. And you may not always have to do it that way. It's fine. Always remember that you are the only person in the world that determines your own worth. Your wife, your sisters, your brothers, your mom, your dad, your friends, people you don't know, strangers, coworkers, whatever. All these fucking people. None of these people determine your worth. You are the only person that determines your worth. Remember that. And this is the fucking issue that I had recently. And it seems to be more and more common lately that people, I talk a lot and I get that. I know because I do these fucking podcasts and all I do is run my fucking mouth. And I've been told I talk a lot and I really don't give a shit. But what bothers me is when people speak for me. When people who don't know me or even do have a tendency to say things out of my mouth that I'm not fucking saying. And I know I talk a lot, so I may not always remember everything I say. But I will fucking promise you that if you talk for me, you are fucking wrong. I promise you, you're fucking wrong. So don't ever fucking speak for me. I don't speak for anybody else. You don't speak for me. Just remember that. Don't let anybody else speak for you either. People don't determine your worth. So if someone walks up to you and tells you you're fucking ugly, guess what? That's their own mind and statement and viewpoint. That's not your viewpoint. My viewpoint is I'm not ugly. Who gives a shit? I might be a solid 4.5 out of 10. Maybe. Whatever. I don't give a fuck. I don't assign a value to myself anyway. I don't give a shit. It's worthless. But you and you only determine your worth. You and you only speak for yourself. And if somebody comes to you and says, oh, hey, man, I heard you said this bullshit. I said, listen, if I fucking said it, I'll tell you I said it. If I remember. If I don't remember, then I'll be happy enough to tell you that honestly sounds like something I would say, so I'm not really shocked if I did. I've had those opportunities several times because I do talk a lot. So it is what it is. But I am the only person that determines my worth. No one else determines my worth. So self-empowerment, you have to be willing to stand up for yourself. You have to be willing to, shape yourself in your own way that benefits you, but also benefits whoever your partner may be. Because quite honestly, and take it however you want, when someone comes into your life, partner, friend, whoever, like, you have to be able to be the best version of yourself for that person. And you may be still healing in the process. That is very common as well, and that's okay. But like, you have to be coming to them with the mindset that I'm going to be better every single day. I'm going to be the best version of myself for this person, and I want to help them achieve their best self as well. I want to bring them and lift them up. So, in self-empowerment here, what I really mean is the ability, as the great Kendrick Lamar says, sit down, be humble. Not everything is a challenge, not everything is a fight, not everything is a who's better than who, a one-up scenario. Everything is just like your self-improvement or your self-empowerment is not a battle with anybody else. It is literally a battle with yourself. It is a battle and a determination and a decision and a desire to be better than you were the day before. And to work towards whatever goals it is that you have that you want to achieve. Self-empowerment. So, getting into relationships, getting into those, whatever you're trying to get into, doesn't, who knows? Everybody's trying to get into different things. Some people want situationships, some people want relationships, some people want short term, some people just want to, you know, have fun. And that's very possible. And that's okay. But no matter what goes on, make sure you always lift your partner up. I can't say I've always been the best at that. I can't say that I'm always the person that defended them in amongst other people. I can't say that I didn't, it wasn't always the best, spouse or, significant other. I'm not. I'm not. I'm full of flaws, I promise you. Promise you. Full of flaws. Not shocking. But make sure that you always lift your partner up. If you don't want to be with them, don't be with them. But don't beat them down. Don't bring them down. Don't degrade them. Don't make them feel like they're less than. Because at the end of the day, you may be a prize, but so are they, no matter who that is. You bring something to the table as well. Just remember that. It's not always a one sided scenario. If it is a one sided scenario, the chances are you're probably not in a good spot. As I said in the last podcast, I said if it doesn't bring value to you or from you, then it's not for you. It's not for you. If you're not getting value and you're not giving value, then it's not for you. It's just the truth. Always lift your partner up. Protect them in times when they're not around. Make sure you let other people know that they're not to be fucked with. Other people can't touch your partner. Trifle with them. Make them feel like they're not themselves or people they should be. They should be untouchable in every aspect of your life. So your partner, they should absolutely be untouchable. No one should be able to tell you that they're not a good person there, they're not this or not that. Now, if they're citing you examples, if someone comes up to you and says, oh, hey, like I saw your girl out there and she was out there on a date with another dude, that's a whole different fucking story. But if someone, is, oh man, your girl's such a bitch, you shouldn't look at that person and be like, yeah, I fucking know. She's probably like, bro, hold your fucking tongue, man. That's my fucking person. Like, you can go fuck yourself. And if you do think that's not the case, if you think, oh, hey, yeah, you're right, she is a bitch. Why are you with her? Why are y'all together? Makes no fucking sense to me. Happens a lot. But at the end of this, just to kind of wrap this up, I mean, at the end of the day, like, ultimately, the best goal of this whole situation and scenario is really to just protect your own peace. Your peace is your only motivation and goal. Whatever you need to do, however you need to do it. In the last situation that I was in, I did not protect my peace. I've recently had an encounter with said person, and it was fine, but there was no value added. There was really no value detracted either. But what I did learn is that people will literally say anything they want to continue to paint themselves in a good light, no matter what they've done to you. And that's just not part of the era that I'm in anymore. So for me, protecting my own peace is important. So the idea of having someone tell me, oh, hey, I didn't do anything, what did I do? When you literally just trampled all over me and made me look stupid to everyone. You can quietly exit my life for good, and I'm okay with that. going back to, the idea of from one of the previous episodes about burning bridges and watching that shit burn and just being like, it's definitely one of them bridges I can burn. Now, the beautiful shirt that I have hanging up back here, the old She Beats Me. Got that from a buddy of mine that I used to work with. I bought him something and he was like, I got the perfect thing for you. And this is what I got in this motherfucker. It's too funny. She Beats Me shirt. Now, so speaking of said situation that was recently run into again. So said situation had a birthday quite a while ago. So I wanted to order her a nice present, and I was trying to be sweet, and I thought it would be funny, and it was kind of a great idea at the time. And I ordered this 3 fucking months ago. A week later, she essentially left me. A week after that, I dropped her shit off on a sidewalk and left it for her. And 3 fucking months later, this fucking package shows up at my fucking door. Finally. So mind you, we are 2.5 months out of being basically just like done with each other. But said situation popped up again, as I said. And I mean, she ain't getting that shit. That shit's staying right here in that package. So I deem somebody worthy to give that shit to. It's just gonna stay right the fuck there. Probably not hung up on the wall, but it's gonna stay right here in my house. In that package. I don't even want to look at it. Haven't even looked at it. It could be fucking wrong for all I know. But I promise you I'm not gonna. I don't care. Until somebody earns the title that's on the shirt. It ain't worth shit. It's just gonna stay here. It's just gonna be here. Hidden somewhere. Who knows? It's hilarious. It's fucked up, but hilarious. So that's that. That's the story behind that right there. If you watch my TikTok, you probably had questions. Or you didn't even care or catch it. I don't know. But I thought my TikTok was pretty good today. So we'll see. This is posted the next day. If you haven't seen it, please go back and watch it. Links will be in the description to my TikTok and my Facebook page and everything else. Go check them out as well. Just remember, I want you, I don't need you. Your presence is not a requirement in my life. Does not fulfill any need. You're not water, you're not air, and you're not my little girl. Someone else who needed my life. So, like any big box retailer, you can be replaced in a day. Doesn't fucking matter. And on that note, and as with any other time, everybody's fighting a battle you know nothing about. Just don't be a cunt.